So I'm Dylan Banks, decided to play FIFA, and I got so good that I was at one point like second in the country.
How did you start building the confidence when it came to like transitioning from gaming to pick-up line?
Every week, I dedicate an hour or two just approaching girls, having a conversation and getting their number.
Yeah.
And there has been a few where, you know, I may have got their number and then they have a boyfriend and they've DM'd, can you take that down? I don't want him seeing that.
Most embarrassing experience that you've had?
And I remember driving home still cringing at myself. 2 days after, I was still thinking about it and nothing that I've done so far has hit me like that.
Sweet. Well, finally here.
Yeah.
Dylan, did
Good to see
you
you.
want to introduce yourself? Have you got a
Yes.
little introduction or anything like that
No, I
for
haven't
yourself?
planned it all.
All right,
No.
let's come up with something on the spot.
Are we
but-
starting now?
Yeah.
Yeah?
We're
Okay.
starting, yeah.
All right. So I'm Dylan Banks. I could say I'm a content creator. I don't like the term influencer. I feel like it's very corny. And I do a variety of different content. I do gaming. I started off in the gaming space, and now I do pickup lines and dating content in TikTok, or on TikTok and Instagram, and on YouTube as well. And yeah, I've just gone on this journey from being a parole officer all the way to, you know,
Yeah,
doing,
sweet.
doing dating content.
No, perfect. That's
Um,
awesome.
Yeah.
So what came first? You said the everything, but was YouTube doing the FIFA? In terms of the influencer space, would you say
Yeah.
the FIFA came first, was it?
Yeah, it was FIFA. I had, while I was in uni, I had done, well, I used to play soccer back in the day. I played soccer from when I was like under 7s to like under 17s or something.
Yeah.
And but then I went to uni and I studied criminology and politics.
Yeah, right.
And I just, yeah, I couldn't play. I didn't have enough time, so I decided to play FIFA, the game.
So you didn't start playing until you were 7, like when you were in uni, or did you play a little bit before FIFA?
Oh, I played like with my uncle and that, like
Yeah.
a couple of times, but yeah, not really.
Yeah.
And then when I was in uni, or it might have started in high school actually, but here and there. But when I was in uni, I continued playing.
Yeah.
And I got so good that I was at one point like second in the country, in Oceania.
Is that on the leaderboards on the actual?
Yeah,
like, FIFA?
on the
Yeah,
leaderboards
sweet.
on FIFA and stuff.
Yeah.
And that was, I mean, I had a bit of a dream when I was younger. I was like, oh, I want to be like a pro gamer. That'd be sick, you know, like play games for a living, whatever.
Yeah.
Never thought much of it though. You know, I was at uni doing crim and politics, and I was like, oh, you know, I'm not pursuing the gaming.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do it on the side, right? But then one thing led to another. Like, I got signed by Brisbane Roar,
Yeah.
right? So the football club, which is like, for those at home who don't know, you know, in a different country, it's a football club here, like in the top league of Australia. So just, you know, one of the major clubs, equivalent to like England. You got the top league, Man United, England, Liverpool. In Australia, you've got Brisbane Roar. They represent basically Queensland, I guess, because there's no other club. They used to have Northern Fury.
Up in Townsville
Up in
there, yeah.
Townsville.
Yeah. Whatever happened to that? Or was that
I don't
just,
know.
Yeah.
I think they lost funding.
Yeah.
I remember Robbie Fowler even played for them back in the day when he was.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I heard they were pretty big, but that was that would have been early on. That was like, I don't even know, 2015 or below. It
Yeah,
had to
that
have been.
was ages ago. And then Robbie Fowler ended up coaching Brisbane Roar
Yeah.
a couple of years ago. But then I got signed by Brisbane Roar as to be their pro esports player.
Were you like one of the first players that when they started doing
I was
this?
like,
or-
it's the second.
Yeah, right.
So it was the second year running because FIFA had brought out their competitive esports league, and then the A League, which is the number one league, the A League, they wanted to start their own esport, you know, major esport competition, like the biggest in Australia or whatever.
Yeah.
similar to like the E-Premier League, because the Premier League has their own as well. And then FIFA included the A-League, the A-League's E-League it was called, which is what I was playing in, into their like pro esports scene. If you won that, then you got to go to the big EA Sports events or pro, internationally.
So do they have like some major events here in Australia, or is it?
Yeah.
All, yeah.
So
okay.
the E-League is the major esport event. If you win that,
Yeah.
you get a ticket to play in the global tournaments that EA holds.
Is it just FIFA, or is it other
No,
different
it's
games?
FIFA.
Okay, just FIFA?
FIFA.
Like no other games or anything like that? Okay,
so it's the
right.
major like FIFA, aka soccer, game. And basically the global one is for like $1 million US, like for the winner. So you get a ticket to that tournament. But so much so, like, basically the E-League's the biggest comp in Oceania.
Yeah.
Because it includes the Wellington Phoenix, which is from New Zealand. And so I represented Brisbane Roar in that while I was still in uni studying.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And my very first year, I got second in that tournament. So I fell just short of making the EA Sports global event. And then I got signed by them again in 2020 and playing in FIFA 20. And then I got second again. It was like a second thing.
Yeah, right.
And then I just kept representing them until last year. Last year was the last year where I represented them. This year I didn't, mainly because I was focusing on other things. But basically I'd represented Brisbane Roar for 4 or 5 years as their pro esport competitor. So
was it just yourself representing, or is it a team of...
So that was me representing the PlayStation side.
Yeah.
And then we had other people come along with me.
Yeah.
Because I was also signed by the esport organisation who partnered with Brisbane Roar. Essentially, I was the main guy, and then they'd take someone along with me as the esports player. But I'd always be like the guy, because I also had the YouTube going at the same time, so it was good exposure for Brisbane Roar.
Yeah.
And on that, like, as I was playing these games professionally, I basically just kept uploading on YouTube during uni. And then it got to a point where, well, that's another story, but it got to a point where I sat down with a mate and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to risk everything. I'm going to drop the job I was in, which is the story. And then I'm going to basically just go for it. I got I had 20 grand in the savings, and I'm like, bang, I'm going to go full time in YouTube. And this was after studying for 5 years. Yeah. Right. And on that note as well, being in criminology and politics, I was lucky in my very last year of uni. Not lucky, but in my very last year of uni, there was a job come up as a parole officer. And it was one position. And it was a position for an existing uni student in their final year to come in as an intern, but it wasn't actually an intern. You were actually working as a proper parole officer. Yeah. But essentially, and you got paid and everything, but essentially I would just have to study part-time the rest of my degree whilst I worked. So I did that for 12 months, and that was the sort of the path I was heading way before I decided, right, I'm going to risk the FIFA YouTube thing. Yeah. And I just had worked managing criminals as they came out of jail as a parole officer for 12 or so months. There's a lot of stories there. That was eye-opening.
100%. The thing that I want to talk about is mainly when you did start doing YouTube, and this just comes from like, I know at our age when we started, because obviously getting paid for YouTube, getting paid for like video games and all that sort of stuff, it'd be a very hard topic to try to tell your parents, especially in your case, or just people around you, is like, hey, I'm going to stop doing this uni degree to start pursuing that, especially when you first start, because I know I did gaming back in the day and all that sort of stuff, and when you'd almost feel like embarrassed in a way to tell people that that's what you want to do. I don't know if you ever felt anything like that. Like it's got that, like it had that stigma to it but nowadays, like you go ask any kid on the street, they probably want to get paid to go to YouTube and video games. So when you first started doing YouTube, was it something that you told everyone about, or were you doing it like secretly, and then once it started taking off, did you start embracing it more, or was it?
Well, I started YouTube, I think I was in grade 10. It was actually with a mate, and funnily enough, I'm still good mates with him now, Jed Hocken, who is he's a trick shot star. Like he's got 1 million+ subs on YouTube.
Yeah.
On TikTok as well, and Instagram's at like 500,000. So he's doing very well for himself, and I often catch.
So what is he doing? Sorry.
He does like soccer trick shots.
Oh right.
Football trick shots.
Yeah.
So like kicking balls into bins or through hoops or whatever.
Yeah.
Like Dude Perfect type stuff.
Yeah. I can see the TikTok's going well for that sort of content.
Yeah. So funnily enough, it was with him. I started this channel, and it was called Aussie FIFA, right? And the goal was to essentially get together with him and do, duo FIFA videos. That didn't turn out because, just with school and living apart, you don't always get the time to film.
Yeah.
And I was really into it. So I decided, I'm going to upload daily and, play the game. Me just screaming and me with me high-pitched voice before my balls dropped.
Yeah.
So that was definitely, definitely, you'd get some laughs in class. Like, people would watch last night's video and, they'd laugh at like, you trying to do a video and stuff on gaming and, you got a high-pitched voice and there was always that. But I don't know, it never really bothered me. I sort of just did it because I loved it and I loved the game and I'd always loved YouTube.
Yeah.
Kind of like Mr. Beast. I know he started off with YouTube because he just loved the concept of it, you know, creating. This is exactly why I love creating content. It's the creation. You then edit the project and put it up for people to enjoy. Yeah. And then you see it, get views, and that really is what makes me, really gets me ticking. Like I love doing that.
Is it the views side of it? Like in terms of content creation, like obviously everyone wants to see like a video do well, but is it like, even if a video does do well, does that like if it just say doesn't get the numbers you thought, or does that demotivate you to keep going, or is it mainly view based that like, I guess, inspires you? Or
it definitely now it does, because views means like my livelihood, like whether I can pay the bills or not. Back then, not necessarily. I did it more for the enjoyment of it. Really. Which is another topic as well. I mean, I used to do magic tricks as I was young, and I had my very first YouTube channel. I had done all these magic tricks, showed them how they were revealed, and one got like 8 million views or something. Yeah, right. And that was only when I was like 14.
That's insane. Yeah, especially back then. Like,
back then, that was really huge. Yeah. And I'd grown that channel. It was called Magic Dill.
Yeah, right.
So,
have you still got access to it?
I do have access to it, but it's under a different name now. It's like, I think it's Dylan Banks, actually. But I'd uploaded, magic tricks on YouTube. As young as 10 years old. And I just loved, creating the video and putting it up. And back then it was all for the enjoyment. I just loved the concept of YouTube. So I pursued it.
No, that's awesome.
But basically went from this parole officer full-time to FIFA.
What was the most like wildest thing you saw when you're like being a parole officer? Because you said you had some stories about it. Is there any one in particular that stood out? Or?
I'm pretty sure I can talk about it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. One that you can actually probably legally talk about. But allegedly, just say that.
Allegedly, there was a lot of really bad things that people had done. Like there was this guy that killed his baby, and I remember the second last day I was working there. Actually, there was this fella who had been on ice, and I had to go and take the electronic monitor off, and he's going off. And he was this massive dude.
Like going off of excitement because
like he had to go back to custody. Into
jail.
Really? So
as
the
he was
police holding him down as I'm trying to take this thing off and get the tool and come on, get it off. And that was crazy. But that's really, there was a lot. I just don't know what I can talk about. Hey?
Yeah, no, it's probably one of those ones where you might not be able to talk about it.
Yeah.
Especially if they're either ongoing or, it's a hard one.
But essentially, that was definitely an interesting convo, telling mum and all that, like, oh, I'm gonna give it all up. I'm gonna go
Yeah, what
do
was her reaction when you said that?
gaming full time? She was definitely very skeptical.
Yeah.
She's always supported me, but she
Yeah.
was very skeptical.
Yeah.
And very, doubtful about it. And I could tell she
Yeah.
was a little bit disappointed, but I just had to do it, because
Yeah, 100%.
I loved, the concept of YouTube, and I knew I wanted to do it full time,
Yeah.
and I was willing to risk everything for it.
Yeah.
Including a good job. And that was another thing too. Like, I was preparing Parol Officer wasn't my number one choice in the job. I was preparing I wanted to work for ASIO, which is the intelligence agency.
Yeah, okay.
I started learning Arabic to try and get myself, in a better position to get a job in ASIO. And that's funny too. Like, sometimes there will be an Arabic reply in the comments, and I'll reply with, Assalamu alaikum. And they're like, oh, are you Muslim?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, brother, no.
Yeah.
I just, I also had a lot of friends that spoke Arabic, and, a lot of Muslim friends. So it was good to talk to them, knowing their language. But
Yeah, sweet.
yeah.
No, that's awesome. When you're making content, how do you deal with not getting burnt out? Because you're saying how you love creating the content for yourself, and that's what gives you joy. But when you're chasing those views and you got to upload this, upload that, and you're doing the FIFA, all that sort of stuff, does it get to a point where you felt like burnouts, I guess you'd say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have.
And have you found a way to find out what causes those burnouts? Because obviously, was there certain videos, was it you were just doing too much between everything, or was it I needed to slow down FIFA to reduce the burnout?
Yeah.
How did you actually?
Well, with social media, it never stops.
Yeah.
You can be at the gym, which is my downtime, and you'll see a notification come up, or you got an email you need to respond to. It is a case where you wake up, starts from there until you go to sleep.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's where it was. And this was way before I even started the dating and pickup line content. I think mid 2022, I was actually living in Brisbane at the time.
Yeah.
And I just, it hit me. I was like, and the thing is too, what's funny is I do this content thing full time, right? You enjoy it so much and I have a passion for it so much that I don't see the burnout creep up. It's like you get used to waking up, working all day, 12 hours a day, every day.
Yeah.
And because you're so passionate about it, you don't see it creep up. But when it hits, I remember I was bedbound. I couldn't get out of bed.
Yeah.
Right? Because I had been just flat out on the computer, editing, filming, playing the game. I also had ran a coaching business, right? Which is another story as well. And you're probably wondering, how did you end up sustaining yourself in a job with this FIFA thing? But I had everything, the coaching business. I had to do sponsor content for my sponsor, A2B Science. And it was just constant, non-stop. And I loved it because I was like, oh, I'm doing my YouTube job full time. It's my dream, but it just crept up. And then, I remember for a couple of days, I just couldn't get out of bed. I just could not move.
Yeah, it felt like a flu or something.
Just felt so numb.
Yeah.
Then I had a break, and since then I've been able to manage it.
Yeah.
Since then I can feel it creeping up. And know I need to take a day.
Yeah. 100%.
And I've started doing that, and taking that day makes the world of difference.
Yeah.
Right?
And when you mean by taking a day, are you fully going off your phone, or just
not
not creating?
Not
okay.
But just basically, just trying to stay off the screen as much as I can. Basically not doing what I would usually do, which is wake up, edit, emails, clients, videos, filming, playing the game. And that's the thing too, when you're doing gaming and you're in the FIFA niche, you need to keep updated with the game and play the game and still maintain a good skill level at it. Otherwise you fall behind the curve in terms of, the content you're making and stuff like that, which is again, why I've really gone and delved off into the dating pickup line sort of industry, or not industry, but niche, because it's a niche I saw that was lacking with, you know, fun, creative content that, you know, people could enjoy.
Yeah.
But yeah, the
burnout is a crazy one, because it's funny. I see even like people like say, you know, like, oh, it'd be so easy to be an influencer. They get to go out and do all this stuff, get paid for it, and it's just like, I don't think people understand or realize like the mental like side of it. Just because like myself, because I used to be a mechanic and like, you know, worked on trucks, everything, like working 12-hour days, doing manual labor. Yes, it's like so much harder on the body and stuff. But when you convert over to this space, there's something different about like mentally looking at a screen for 12 hours a day. It does something that's completely, in my opinion, more exhausting just on the body as a whole. Probably not obviously in the long run on your joints and physical pain, but there's something about that, like the social media side of it, that I don't know if the human body or mind just hasn't caught up, hasn't adapted to it yet, especially because of how quick it's just like accelerating, and now with AI and all that sort of stuff. Like, that's the most scariest part for me, is like all that stuff, because I don't think we've adapted to this whole new wave yet.
It definitely consumes you.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of really big YouTubers in the millions of followers who have just dropped off the face of the earth in terms of they've just disappeared.
Yeah.
And it's because they get burnout.
Yeah.
And I was listening to Penguins, that big YouTuber with
I've heard of Penguins,
like 14 million subscribers or something.
Yeah.
I find him quite funny.
Yeah.
I listened to him talking about it, and I think he's right. And he's in discussing, he's like, you know, it's the YouTubers who do the same content day in, day out, over and over again, daily. It really consumes them. And he's like, that's why I maintain or produce content that's versatile, that's doing something different every day, because it really does consume you, especially if you're in the gaming area. If you're good at a particular game, that's the content you're uploading, and it's constant over and over again. It really does take its toll.
Oh yeah. What about streaming? Have you ever done that, or like got, especially with the pickup lines? I feel like streaming would be amazing. Like,
no, I haven't done any streaming for pickup lines. I think I've seen people do it before. Not in the right way though. I think it was like terrorizing people. Yeah. But I have seen that. But yeah, I was streaming FIFA, the game, for quite a while, and that's one thing I had to drop actually. Was the streaming part of things when I was burnt out, because I'm like, something's got to give. Yeah. Because you know, as I said at the time, I was having to play the game competitively as a pro, upload the YouTube videos daily, and stream, and I was also coaching, because through my YouTube with FIFA, I sold coaching to my viewers. Yeah. And I worked one-on-one with them, and essentially I had, well, up right now, I think there's 400 people signed up. Yeah, okay, that's so insane. It's really, really crazy with how many people, you know, and when I explain to people, it just goes over their head. They can't fathom people actually paying for someone to coach them on a video game, but the market's there. Yeah, and
I could imagine so. Especially, what's like, do you have like an age demographic for your clients?
Usually it's in their 30s.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
really,
it's
in
the
their
older
30s?
people that
really
essentially, you know, play it casually. They want to get better. They have spare cash. Yeah. They want to, you know, get coached how to get better. And I've coached CEOs of multi-million-dollar companies. There are some younger clients as well. There's a young fella who his dad pays for coaching. It's like his sport. So his dad essentially, and his passion is esports, and his dad pays for his kid to get coaching with me, so that he can try and make his get his pro card. So there's that as well. And
that's insane.
Yeah.
Is it mainly just you only teach PlayStation, or it doesn't really matter?
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever. It's just the game itself. Yeah. FIFA or EAFC is called now.
PlayStation, are they bigger than Xbox when it comes to like that space?
Yeah. EAFC they are. For FIFA they are. Yeah. So
how did you start building the confidence when it came to like transitioning from gaming to pickup lines. Like, what made you one day to want to start doing that, and what made you, I guess, think that you could do that in a way? Did you like watch a video, I could do that better, or was it? And then how did you start actually going out into the real world and start practicing, or what did you do?
Oh, that's a story. But I think back on the topic, how the FIFA and that consumed me.
Yeah.
Again, it goes back to, I just loved creating content in what I was passionate about at the time. And with FIFA and gaming, I was getting a little bit older and I was just losing the passion. And I essentially I used to, well, if I'm honest, I never used to be really that great with girls, with talking to girls, talking to women. And I used to watch these YouTubers, for instance, shout out to Jack Denmo. He's a YouTuber from Canada. He used to do all these pickup line videos, dressing up as Batman, getting girls' numbers and stuff like that. And I used to love watching his content. It was really funny to watch. And now he does a lot of self-help stuff, which is cool to see.
Oh, that's awesome.
But I remember watching him and other people like Vitaly and all that sort of thing, approach girls. And I'm like, you know what? Something clicked to me one day where I'm like, the gaming side of things and the FIFA side of things, I can't really show my personality that much. I teach the game. I'm not entertainment FIFA. There's the people that teach the game, or there's the people that upload entertaining.
Yeah,
FIFA.
would you say like, I don't know, like the sidemen sort of people you entertain?
That's it.
Yeah, and then
like
you got
KSI, and then you got me who is really into.
And did you try and like do the entertainment side and then just realize I can't act like that?
Yeah.
Like it just didn't feel genuine.
Didn't feel genuine.
Okay. Yeah.
And I just knew that, what I was good at was teaching the game.
Yeah.
And so I started doing that.
Yeah.
But essentially, I thought, you know what, I could add a twist to this. I could add my personality to this, and really add some entertainment to the dating scene. And when you look at dating content these days, it's very serious, and people are sort of with dating apps and all that thing, social media. I think it's almost like, it's sad, but it's like men against women online sometimes. It's like, look, guys, we're all here together,
Yeah.
But I thought to myself, yeah, I could do that. So I think it was around mid-2022, around that mental, like that burnout.
Yeah.
I thought to myself, yeah, like, I don't know where I'm going to get started, but I'm going to get started.
Because I remember we were having dinner with Max, and you told me about how you were going to start, and that was around 2022.
Yeah.
And I remember you saying to me that you started practicing without the camera. Is that where you're about to lead into?
That's
okay.
it. Yeah.
Righto.
So essentially, I would dedicate like an hour or two per week, right? This was when I was doing the FIFA or the gaming, to just, when I'm getting the groceries, if I saw a pretty girl that I liked, getting her groceries, I go up and say hello and have a casual, general conversation.
Yeah.
The first approach was just horrendous. I remember it. I went up to her and I was like, hello, yeah, hello. And then she stared at me awkwardly and then just basically walked off. And I was just standing there with my heart in my mouth and my ego to the floor, and essentially just it was an experience and a half. But I was just passionate about I was just passionate about creating content. I was like, I want to do this. So every week, I dedicate an hour or two just approaching girls, having a conversation and getting their number. Yeah. And eventually it got to the point where, I would actually get girls' numbers and get comfortable talking to girls. And again, like, people always ask me, they always ask me, how do you get the confidence to talk to girls? Like, I'm always scared, I can't approach them. Like, how do you do that? It's literally repetition is key. Yeah. Like, that is you know.
It'd be like anything. Yeah.
It is like anything, you know.
Yeah.
You just got to put yourself in an uncomfortable situation
Yeah.
so that you can deal with that uncomfortable situation. I mean, like, I've heard it before, you know, human beings, we adapt, you know, we adapt to our conditions. And if you put yourself in that condition enough, you're going to be able to do it.
Yeah.
Right?
I feel like in 10 years, though, there's not going to be anyone doing it. Like in terms of the younger generation come through, especially with all the like dating apps and social media, I reckon in 10 years, 10, 15 years, if someone was to walk up to you and say something, you'd be like creeped out by it. Like at the moment, it's sort of like that. You know, like you can't even just go, like if you're on a train or if you're on a bus, if you were to just start a conversation with someone, they sort of look at you like, what the hell's going on? Like, I feel like, so that's awesome that you can like bring that back into society in a way.
That's it. And that was kind of a motivation of me as well. I wanted to inspire like social interaction and people actually talking to people, you know, guys approaching girls, girls approaching guys. And I'm all for that. And in my bio, it's, you know, inspiring social interactions. You know, I just love, well, I've built a bit of a passion, you know, trying to encourage this by doing it and showing that you can do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just kept on approaching and basically talking to girls and just practicing interacting with them. And eventually I got better and better. And basically just felt very comfortable. I also wanted to take the approach of trying to not creep out a girl, you know, like you said, people are creeped out by people approaching them these days. And I was always mindful of that. And you'll even see in my videos, a lot of the time, I'm very conscious of how my body language is. Yeah. You know, I'll go up to them, open palms. And this is something I learned in parole. When you're trying to, you know, show that you're open, show that you're not closed off, open palms, showing that you're open to someone. Yeah, okay. You know, not coming in with arms crossed or anything like that. I'll have my hands behind my back just to show that when your chest is open, it means you're open, right? And that sort of allows you to be less creepy, less, you know, essentially, I could say, I don't know. Yeah, creepy's the word, I think. And I was very conscious of that. So I got better and better at actually making the girl comfortable as well. And I think that's also key to whether the interaction was creepy or whether it was an actual good interaction between you and the girl. So basically I was mindful of that and kept working on that until I got to the point where I was like, okay, I think I'm ready. I think I can now do this whilst on camera. And it's funny because it's one thing going and talking to a girl, which a lot of guys don't do. It's another thing doing it while you're being filmed. And the girl doesn't have any idea that she's being filmed. Right? And mind you, I always ask for permission whether I can use the footage or not. If not, that's fine. I keep it for, you know, reasons down the track if I was reported or whatever. But, you know, I basically won't put it up. Or if they ask to be taken down, I'll take it down. But I'm very transparent like that. I feel like reputation is very important when you're in the social media space. And I don't want that reputation of, you know, the creepy guy or anything like that. So I always try and make the interactions very lighthearted and essentially fun to you know, when you're interacting with people. Have you ever had like one where a girl's ass taken down once she realizes it's recording because she probably had a boyfriend? Or is... Yeah. There has been a few where, you know, may have got their number and then they have a boyfriend and they've DM'd or slid in the DMs of Instagram and they've been like, can you take that down? I don't want him seeing that. So that has been the case a couple of times. No, that'd be pretty embarrassing for them to get caught out in that sort of situation. So normally, so straight after you do your video, you just ask them, do they have to, I don't know, do they ask like where it's going most of the time, or do most people like just say like it's fine? Or, most of the time they do. It's funny, sometimes you're going to do an interaction and it'll be like 2 or 3 in a row where wasn't that good and they don't want to be on it. But
Yeah.
then you'll have 5 or 6 in a row where it's like, you know, it's funny how it goes in that. It's like in waves. Like
Yeah. Okay.
there'll be groups of people that say they don't want to be on it, and then you have 5 or 6 that are happy to be on it.
Yeah.
Right? So it's really weird how it works like that. But yeah, I'm basically doing like the interaction, and then they go to walk off. I go, hey, I'm actually, you know, trying to encourage social interactions, and you know, trying to teach guys how to talk to girls, and basically just be upfront with them and say, look, I'm doing a video. Are you okay to be on it? And if they say yes, that's fine. I can use it. If not, I just won't use it.
Yeah. Is there any areas in particular you've noticed after doing it for a while that you've had more success rate on? For example, unis, it's like you get more people not only want to be on camera, but more girls, I guess, saying yes, or is it like just randomly on streets is better? Like,
I would say I do like going to the like universities, only because like there's girls your age there, and it's easier to find people that are willing to be on a video.
Yeah.
That is one thing too with social media. I think a lot of girls these days they love being involved in videos. You know, like there's been plenty of, you know, when I do my interviews, you know, oh girls, you want to be, oh yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's definitely a case where people have adapted to wanting to be on social media, whereas if I was doing videos with 30 or 40-year-olds, it's a different story. It's like, oh, I'm not really that interested, you know. I have a job in this, I don't want them to see it, you know. So, yeah, I think it's a case where girls are, you know, they've accustomed themselves to being on camera from TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah. And would you say the biggest success for actually getting a number or Instagram or whatever from asking a girl, is it your body language? Do you find, like, do you find that you could probably, once you got the body language sorted, you could just confidently get the girl's number, probably even without talking, or what?
Yeah, like as long as the interaction's genuine, you know, I feel as though the majority of the time they do give their number. Whether or not they'll follow through with texting with you or not, you know, is another story. But having said that, I don't really follow through with texting. You know, I'd sort of just leave them alone, right? So I could have it's funny. I keep my dating life separate to the dating content, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, to answer your question, as long as it's genuine, I feel as though, you know, as long as you're you're mindful of how you come across, the girl, you know, won't have any issue or any trouble with it. But people say, oh, you got all these numbers. What are you doing with them all? Like, are you talking to all these girls? No. You know, I really prioritize the content side of things and the passion for that, and just trying to pump it out and essentially putting up content for people to enjoy and to share and that sort of thing.
And talk about the dating life. If you're trying to keep that separate, so have you ever had any interaction that's actually led to, I guess, a date or anything like that? Has it actually led to a bit more, or is it? Because I know there's this YouTuber I watch who does like really good pickup lines, and he actually has like a wife and everything like that, and like she doesn't care. I think it is Steven. Yeah, he's unreal, and like he obviously he still does it. He has a wife and all that sort of stuff, and she understands that. Like, is that something you look for? Is that something you already have? Like, how are you going to manage eventually if you want to keep doing this, if you're married or anything like that, to keep this separate? Like,
yeah. Well, it's funny. I was, you know, I did think that, you know, when I first started, I'm like, you know, is anyone actually going to want to date you long term when you do this? But I mean, I was in a relationship only 6 months ago, and she was totally fine with it, mainly because she trusted me. And I didn't, you know, I didn't do any wrongdoing. Like I was loyal in that relationship. But in terms of people messaging, like I do find, although I won't approach them after the interaction, if they lead out and they're very keen, then, you know, I'll have a chat. And see what leads. But and I find like it's funny. It's happening a lot more now with the following increase.
Once I see the followers,
they're a lot more keen than what they were back in the day when you had 1,000 followers or whatever. but yeah, I was in a relationship, and yeah, she was totally fine with it, and I had said that, you know, that was the terms. If you want to date me, I'm not going to stop for anyone. You know, and that was the main thing.
It's hard because obviously if you're making a living into it, like from it, and a girl comes into your life, and if she would want you to stop, it wouldn't really make sense.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So,
and it didn't even end over that. It just ended because she had to go back to a home country in Europe. So
most embarrassing experience that you've had throughout. Is there one particular moment? Is there a few that you want to share? Is there any, when you first started on camera, surely there was some that you didn't even upload because when you were starting out, because they were that, I don't know, embarrassing when you first. Or
I still uploaded the embarrassing ones.
Yeah.
But I think the most embarrassing one, or the one where I felt like my heart was in my mouth, was it was actually recent with a friend, Shanae. She's featured in quite a few videos.
I think I've seen that. Yeah. Okay.
I met her at the gym, and essentially we did fake proposals.
Oh, I saw that one actually. Yeah.
In public.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And look, I've got the balls to go up and approach people and do all these type of videos, but that was certainly a hard video to do.
Yeah.
It was just the fact getting down, proposing to someone and getting rejected.
Yeah.
It wasn't the fact that, I don't know, you weren't getting, it wasn't the fact that it was like someone rejecting me. I've been rejected hundreds of times.
Yeah.
But people are watching you and they think, oh, they're going to get married.
Yeah.
And then she says, I remember like there was a big minion and she's like, oh, the minion's probably packing more than you. And then she storms off and everyone's watching you.
So was that like Con with the minion? Was that like playing for us? She just like made like,
no,
just
we saw the minion, we're like,
spot?
oh, we should say that. We should say that the minion's packing more than you.
Yeah.
And then she did lines like, oh, I'm in love with your dad, not
you.
you.
Yeah. That's
so, that was definitely, I'd say, the hardest one to do, especially for her too. She was
that
struggling.
her first time doing that sort of content?
No,
as well?
She had been on a couple of videos beforehand as well.
And did she do social before? Is that how you met, or you
just... she actually has a shout out to Shanae. She has a TikTok account. I think it's at NAE on TikTok.
Yeah.
She's got like 150k followers.
Yeah. Okay.
So she should do like dancing and like all that sort of thing more.
Yeah.
Recently she did a crying video that got 2 million views.
Yeah. Right.
So that was weird, but yeah.
Yeah. Sweet. So most embarrassing would be not really the pickup lines, just the
fake proposals. That was so hard to do.
Yeah.
So embarrassing. And I remember driving home still cringing at myself. Like, and I remember a few days after, I was still thinking about it, and nothing that I've done so far has hit me like that.
Yeah, really. What about so not even any rejections or anything like that, where you just had to, you know, like I know if the pickup lines isn't the one, but surely there's got to be a rejection where that's on top of your head that you can think of.
Rejection? Not really, because I always needed rejections for a video, and it was always good, because I could use my famous line where I'm like, what did you eat last night? And she's like, Macca's. I'm like, would you eat Macca's again?
Yeah.
Are you going to eat Macca's tonight? No. Why would you have Macca's twice in a row? Oh, that's, you know, exactly. Yeah. When you get sick of Macca's, give me a call.
Yeah.
So I always needed a rejection.
Yeah. So you find the rejection ones actually probably help more with the views and stuff as well then?
No, it just shows transparency. Yeah, a lot of people show like just they're getting the numbers and that they're like, oh, they're this big pickup thing artist. Yeah. But nah, like I wanted the fun. I was doing it more for like content.
Yeah.
Right? It wasn't for like showing that I can get a number. It's more for like having fun content because I just loved that part of it.
Yeah.
So showing rejections, you know, I remember one time I was picking up girls by starting Nerf fights.
Yeah.
So I was approaching girls, giving them a Nerf gun and going 3, 2, 1, and then you just have a Nerf fight. And then once we finished, I'd be like, see, I'd take a Nerf bullet for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember this girl, she's like, no. She didn't start the Nerf fight. And then she rejected me because she was going back to Denmark. And I got down on my knee. I'm like, oh, no. And I got her to shoot me in the heart just as like a thing. And this is totally like a random girl that was not set up. But again, it just goes to the point that I wanted some rejections.
Yeah.
It's funny too. One of the first people that helped me film Flow, shout out to him. I mean, he used to give up his Fridays to help me film from work. Like he believed in it, and I'm always indebted to him. But forever indebted to him. But he, I remember saying to him one day, I think we did this video idea. I think it was like a pickup line was like, fancy seeing you here. We did like 3 or 4 interactions, and there was no rejections. Like I kept getting these numbers, and I'm like, bro, I need a rejection. Like, I need someone to reject me.
Especially for the content side.
For the content side. I'm like, I want to show transparency.
Yeah.
So we kept going until like, I think it was like the next interaction was a rejection, so it was perfect. But I'm like, I need someone to.
Did you just change up your body language, do you think, to try and get?
I didn't change anything.
Okay.
I did a genuine interaction.
Yeah.
Because I thought I'll add it in if I get the number.
Yeah.
But it was just it's a case where, you know, I don't mind getting rejected because it's good for the content.
From your case studies then, what is the best pickup line that you've found? Is there a particular pickup line, maybe it's one for people to get started?
Yeah.
What's a good one that can just help people
out? I like the pickup line, fancy seeing you here.
Yeah. Because
it gets the girl thinking, hang on, do I know that guy?
Yeah.
Right? And familiarity is a positive thing when it comes to, you know, interactions, because you feel, you know, I don't know what science is behind it, but when you're familiar with someone, the interaction is more comfortable, and you know, you feel.
And what if she takes the approach of like not knowing you? That's what you'd probably be hoping for? Is that just to get the?
It's really just getting her thinking, wait, do I know him? Do I actually know him? And then I remember doing it one day to a girl. This was on a video, and I said to her, fancy seeing you here. She was like, oh, hey, and give me a hug. I did not know her.
Yeah, okay.
But she thought she knew me.
Yeah, the embarrassment of not knowing would be worse if she actually gets in it.
So it actually gets them thinking, and then you just say no. You know, you go, fancy seeing you here, and then you just like, no, I don't know you, but I want to.
Yeah. Yeah,
and then I find that is one of the best pickup lines.
The best ones. So that's the one you give out as to get started for people
fancy
learning.
Seeing you here.
Yeah, and what about if they're got a bit more, I don't know, they get a bit of game about them? What's the next one up from there? That's a good one to level up from the fancy seeing you. We're not talking to try get rejections, we're talking about to actually.
I really like the pickup line. Oh my God. I was going to wear the exact same thing as you did, but you did it better.
I've seen those ones that you've done.
Yeah.
Good success rate with that one.
Yeah, I find it really gets, it's funny, that video got like 11 million views, and all the girls were like, oh, my heart would melt. Yeah. There were so many girls in the comments saying that. So
what's the most views on a video have you seen so far?
40 million.
40, and that's a FIFA one, wasn't it? FIFA pickup line?
No,
it was.
No, that was
Manchester.
So no, it was a formation one.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, mine is 4-3-2-1. What's yours? And the guy's like, what? What the fuck? Yeah. I'm referring to like a football formation.
Yeah.
Right. And then eventually the girl at the end got it, and that went crazy. I think I was over in Thailand as that was going off. And it was like...
It was filmed here in Brisbane, though.
It was filmed here in Brisbane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that would be a hard one. Like, for me, for example, I wouldn't even understand what that means because I don't watch soccer. So, like, the demographic on that, was it Australians or when you saw...
No, I have viewers from all over the world.
Yeah.
It's like UK, the US, TikTok. I think the Australian audience is 17%.
Yeah, okay.
So, and then it's only about 10% on Instagram. So I got people from all over the shop. But it's funny too. I think the second most viewed video is around 40 million or 38 million views or something. And that was one I just did in the airport. It was just taking 2 clips from an old video, putting them together, and essentially, just went off. I think it got like 12 million views in the first 24 hours.
That's insane.
It was just unreal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that when you first were starting out? Did those ones pop? Or was that?
I was at 20K followers when I put that up.
Yeah.
And then I think from that very video alone, I think I doubled in following.
Yeah. That's
So
insane.
it was just crazy how it can just change up in arms like that. And even in the last 2 months, it's just gone crazy.
Yeah.
Like TikTok, we've hit 125K, whereas like this time last month, I was at 60K.
Yeah.
So it's
ridiculous.
just going crazy. And Instagram's nearly at 100 now.
So what does better numbers, Instagram or TikTok?
TikTok does better views.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Like overall, if you were to like,
Overall.
okay, yeah,
Last month I did 30 million.
yeah, that's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Like, and that's crazy. Like, yeah, that you can take it, like you said, your demographics are only 10% Australian. You can take that anywhere in the world. Like, yeah, I've
That's
seen
it.
your stuff in Bali as well and stuff like you know, you can go to any country and take this
100%.
career
I want
with
to film
you.
in Ibiza. I want
Yeah.
to film in the US because I know that the US culture is more accustomed to the content I'm doing.
Yeah. That'd be, I feel like the US would be like the best one because like I don't think there's ever been an Australian going over there to pick up lines in the same style. Like,
No,
maybe there has been, I don't know, but
Yeah.
like I haven't personally seen it. But
I'd love to do it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I feel like just the Aussie accent would work well for not just getting, you probably wouldn't get as many reject. I don't know.
I actually
But
came up with the idea of picking up girls in every state of America.
that's pretty cool. Because
So,
how many states are there? Like
50.
50, yeah.
Yeah. So doing a YouTube series around
Just traveling around there.
that.
Yeah, what Mr. Beast style? Like I traveled around.
Yeah.
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 No,
But
that
I'd probably make it into multiple episodes.
Yeah,
Yeah. On YouTube.
100%.
So-
Talking about pickup lines before, we had the embarrassing, but you haven't had any backfire, like in terms of like boyfriend message you or anything like that from it, like
No,
or
not
nothing
at all.
like that.
That's why I try and keep it as lighthearted and as fun as I do.
Yeah,
Simply because, like, if I'm coming across as very serious and like pushy and like, creepy, then you might get that type of reaction. But I really try and, keep it fun and lighthearted.
yeah,
But yeah, like if a girl takes it wrong, like if I've done a pickup line before and she's gone like, what the fuck? And, got a bit uncomfortable. I'm like, I'm so sorry. That's okay. Like we won't use it. And,
What
I
about
hope you have a good day.
like in town though? I feel like in a town situation there'd be a lot of like protective boyfriends and stuff when you
No,
try to pull them up.
Not
No,
necessarily.
nothing like that.
I usually, if I see there's a guy kind of lurking, I will say, are you single? Right,
Yeah.
before I do any filming, just to make sure. And if they are not single,
Yeah.
then that'll basically determine what questions
What
I ask.
question? Yeah.
Right? So I'm very good at like sussing out the environment and like sort of like who's there. But and then some girls they'll be like, oh no, I got a boyfriend, and then
Yeah.
I'll be like,
And that's a clip in itself.
yeah, that's it. So
I think we've covered a lot. There's a lot more we probably go into, especially for like going into your criminology and pickup lines stuff. But we got a good coverage of
everything.
your story.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. No, sweet. We'll leave it there.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
No worries. Thanks for coming on.